What up, reader fam? Today I've got two words for you. Hot take. Sandwich those words together and we've got hot take. Apparently a lot of people don't know what a hot take is, and my hot take for the day is when you don't know what something is, you Google it. Or rely on me to tell you because I'm weak and I'll fill you in. I'll be your Google. Hot takes are pretty much the same as unpopular opinions, but they're often used on Twitter to post a controversial opinion that you know a lot of people won't agree with. Oftentimes when people post their hot takes, I think they're just a little bit bored and they want to cause some controversy, get some drama going in their feed. I often don't tend to follow people on Twitter who post hot takes because more times than not, they come with a bit of an arrogant tone. And I can't deny the fact that I'm not a fan of that. I don't like it. It ain't my jam. Why read something in your feed that makes you feel sucky when you can avoid reading something in your feed that makes you feel sucky? Logic! It's one thing to post your opinions, but oftentimes people cross over into jerky territory. Keep that jerky in the kitchen. So today I'm going to be reacting to your bookish hot takes. I went over on my Instagram at jessethereader if you want to follow me, asked you guys to submit your bookish hot takes, and today I'm going to be reacting and commenting on those hot takes. I'm excited to dive in because I feel like there's a nice variety. The one hot take that I'm not going to be reacting or commenting on is the whole dog ear debacle. I have already discussed dog earring to the grave at this point. We have buried the dog ear discussion and we will not be bringing it back to life. May it rest in peace. I must say that some of these hot takes felt like they were being directed right at me. Some of them hit a little too close to home with my reader behavior, but alas, I had to bring myself back to reality and remind myself that we all have different opinions and it's okay to have a different way of thinking when it comes to books. Let's get started. If you buy a second copy of a book, you should give up the one that you already have and just have one. Was this one meant to be targeted at me? Because you hit the bullseye with the dart you just sent this way? I have many duplicate copies of books, and I honestly have no regrets about that. It's my money and it's my problem. Like, I chose to spend my money on these and it's literally a problem. I get sucked into buying a second edition because they're beautiful, but I still want to own the original. Okay, it's a problem. A literal, stupid, first world problem. I can't help myself. Well, I can, but I'm weak. I'm weak for books. Beautiful books. I do disagree with this one. I think it's okay to like have that rule for yourself, but I don't think it's okay to tell people what they can and cannot do with their money and with their books. If getting a second copy makes you happy and keeping the original makes you happy, then you shouldn't have any bad feelings about keeping both of them. In fact, you could keep the original copy to be your borrow copy, and the new edition that you got can be the one that you keep for yourself. Or not. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever makes your book love and heart happy. I do want there to be less pressure on people who don't want duplicate copies though. Like, if you only have one edition of a book, that's fine. You don't have to have a collection full of different editions of books. If you don't have any books and you just use the library, that's great too. We all have different ways of being obsessed with books. And guess what? There's no right way to be obsessed with books. Next hot take. Percy Jackson was better than Harry Potter. Y'all really didn't hold back now, did you? I can't say that I agree with this one, but I can see why people would think this. Maybe had I read Percy Jackson before I'd read Harry Potter, I would have different feelings. But since I didn't, Harry Potter still takes the cake for me. And when I say it takes the cake, I mean it devours that cake. Okay. While I loved the Percy Jackson series, it came nowhere near meeting the level of love that I have for the Harry Potter series. I'm sorry, Percy, even though I continue to be disappointed by things that have come out since the Harry Potter series, I'm still able to somehow look past all that and keep on loving it. I'm loving it. Nostalgia or reading it at a certain time could be the key factors in this. Who knows? Only the book gods know. What do you guys think? Percy Jackson or Harry Potter? Let me know in the comments down below. Next hot take. There's no point in keeping a book you wouldn't want to read again. I'm like in the middle of this teeter-totter here. On one hand, I agree. On the other hand, I disagree, and it's just going back and forth and back and forth and yeah. On one hand, I understand the mindset of wanting to keep every book you've ever read. You bought that book with your hard-earned money. You spent that time reading it, which you could have spent for anything else in the world. So if you want to keep it as a trophy, even if you're not going to read it ever again, hey, then that's your prerogative. I know for me, I have this mindset of wanting to keep books just because I have a very strong memory attached to them. That's something I definitely vibe with. I often keep books just because they remind me of a specific time in my life. I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I slip into a pool of nostalgia every week. I cannot help that about myself. On the flip side though, I get this hot take. I understand it. I get why you wouldn't want to keep a book that you would never read again, because obviously it's just going to sit there on your shelf collecting dust for years and years and years. So that's why I'm on this teeter-totter situation. But again, I don't like telling people what to do. It's your book collection, it's your money, you do what you want to do. Next hot take. Bashing people's book taste doesn't make you cool or interesting. I agree with this hot take. Would post this on my Twitter. I've experienced this so much in the past and I still experience this to this day. Like, there are some people who should be picking up a book and reading instead of spending their days critiquing other people's reading lives. It's just such a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around. You're taking time out of your day to bash someone instead of doing something productive. Huh. You good? You don't have enough to do in your day, so you decide to bash other people for what? For things that someone enjoys? You're welcome to excuse yourself, because I'ma keep reading what I'm reading. Also, just so you guys know, the block button is a beautiful thing. If anyone makes fun of you or judges your reading taste, blockity blockity. It's as simple as that. If only there was a blockity blockity button in real life. Next hot take. You don't hate reading, you probably just haven't found the right book for you. That's all. I agree with this one wholeheartedly. It makes me so sad that people give up on books because of just one bad experience they've had with the book, but I also understand why they would. Because books are a big commitment. commitment. It's something you've got to dedicate your time to. And if you read a book and you're really not into it, or you're forced to read something for school and you have to break down every detail, it can be easy to be turned off from reading. Next hot take, I don't like when people show the book's naked hardback because I like to keep the surprise to myself. That's so interesting. I've never really thought about that. Should I start giving hardback spoiler warnings? Even if you think I should, I'm not going to. Not that I undress my books and show them off in videos often. I wouldn't want my books to do that to me, so why would I do that to them? Maybe I should start blurring out hardbacks to respect their privacy. Next hot take, never judge a book by its synopsis. Many books are undersold in reviews and synopsis. So basically, don't judge a book by its cover, don't judge a book by its genre, don't judge a book by its summary, don't judge a book by its author, and don't judge a book by what people are saying about it. Just read the dang book, then judge it. Noted. I think that should be the new saying, but I agree with this one because I feel like more times than not, the summary is just so off compared to what the book is actually about. Also, spoilers. So many book summaries these days are filled with spoilers. Next hot take. Kenji wasn't the highlight of the Shatter Me series. Warner was. You're right. Psych! Kenji is my favorite. That series would have been so bland without him. And for me, he is the highlight. Warner who? Kenji for president. Next hot take. Graphic novels belong in school curriculums. Period. Yes. Preach it. There are a lot of really great graphic novels out there that deserve to be taught in school. There is one that I think is often taught in schools, and that is Mouse. The author depicted his father's experience as a Polish Jew and a Holocaust survivor in graphic novel format. But I know that there are so many more important conversations that are happening in the graphic novel format that are being overlooked. And I think it's because there's a bit of a stigma with graphic novels. Often people just look at them and they're like, oh, they're just going to be these comedy comics. While there are a lot of graphic novels that do fit that, not all are that way. Next hot take. Fangirl is a mediocre novel at best. I can see why you might think that Fangirl is mediocre, but I guess that means I have mediocre taste in books because I love Fangirl. So drag me, dudes. I will admit I didn't love the Simon and Baz parts of this book. I feel like those points kind of really took me out of the story, but I so deeply connected with the character Kath and how she deals with social anxiety. Like, I would read the things she dealt with and just be like, wow, this be hitting a little too close to home. I also related to her being heavily involved in fandom. Like, I felt that, and also her putting herself out there online. I truly know what that's like. I understand that it's not a book for everyone though, and you're allowed to think that it was mediocre at best. Next hot take, paperbacks are superior. I honestly don't have a preference on book format. I mean, I obviously have mostly hardbacks, but I'll read paperbacks, ebooks, hardbacks, audiobooks.
But you can't read audiobooks.
I listen to audiobooks and they count as reading to me. But I am not here to have that argument today. I'm glad that you found a format of books that you prefer over all the rest. I'll personally consume a story no matter what form it comes in. Next hot take, it's not important how much you read, it matters what you enjoy. Wow, this was a really pure and wholesome hot take. Stick that on an inspirational poster and call it a day. I think it's easy to get caught up in the book hustle, especially when you're a part of the online book community, because you have people who are reading like 18 books a month, which is great, amazing, iconic, you're doing great, sweetie. But then you look at the little stack of books that you've read and you've only read 2 books and you're like, welp, I'm a failure. Newsflash, you're more than good enough, you're valid, you're important, you're beautiful, you're magical, you're a book reading unicorn. And it's not about the amount you've read, but how much you've enjoyed the process. Did I mean to just give a motivational speech? Nope, but here we are. Next hot take, I don't include rereads in my reading challenges. What? Why not? I've reread around 5 books this year, I think, and I count each and every one towards my challenge. If I didn't count them, my already suffering Goodreads goal would be suffering. Next hot take, John Green's writing is flat and not complex. I disagree. You're entitled to your opinion. Your opinion. I almost just said onion. You're entitled to that too. I had started to wonder if this was true because I see a lot of criticism towards John Green's books these days, especially on like Twitter and Goodreads and whatnot. So I started to question my opinion, but then I've reread some of his books recently and I'm like, nah, I disagree with this. I feel like maybe his writing style just isn't your forte, because I could see people seeing that as flat, but I see there to be a lot of complexities, especially when it comes to his characters and their relationships. I also just get this nice realness vibe from his books. His characters are shaped in a way where they feel like they could be real people, so maybe that's where you feel his books are flat, because reading about things that can feel real can sometimes be a little bit on the boring side. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe your reading tastes are just different than mine. Next hot take, we're all wasting too much money on new releases that we'll never read. I mean, true, but is knowing that fact gonna stop any of us? Nope, because we've all been hypnotized into staying on top of every book that drops, buying them, and then letting them sit on our bookshelves untouched. It's all a scheme to eventually transform us all into book monsters. It's only a matter of time. Except I think most of us have already hit that transformation. I wonder what warrants being a book angel. Oh wait, probably actually reading every new release that comes out. That will get you a halo and have you growing wings. Next hot take. I actually like it when a certain character repeats certain certain phrases or sentences. This is one of my pet peeves. Unless it's like some kind of lingo that the character often uses, then I can let that slide. Like if the character says, "Hey yo," every time they approach someone, that's fine. But if they keep pushing the same saying at me with every page, I will want to rip that page out and flush it down the toilet. Not really. I don't get that angry over small things. Something like that does not warrant book damage, but you can bet that I'll be ranting about the overuse of a saying in my review. Next hot take, Mal is a great character and has the best growth of any character in Shadow and Bone. I need to reread the Shadow and Bone trilogy to know how I really feel. I remember not really enjoying his character and finding him irritable, but opinions can change. I know that firsthand. First, I know it. I think I'm gonna reread the trilogy before the Netflix series drops because sometimes you've gotta reassess your feels. It be like that sometimes. Books are actually true and we live inside a fake world. This is gonna make my brain hurt if I think about it too much. Alright, that's all the hot takes that I'm gonna be going over today. Thank you guys so much for sending these in and attacking me with every single one. It felt great. Sometimes you just need to be personally attacked. You guys should let me know down below in the comments some of your bookish hot takes. I better start mentally preparing for all the attacks coming in the comments. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.